I love non-English crime dramas, and Max has dropped a new Spanish slow burn mystery called When No One Sees Us. Is it going to be your new weekly binge? During Holy Week in Morón de la Frontera, a village located next to a U.S. Army base, the American way of life coexists naturally with the traditions of the Andalusian countryside. While a civil guard sergeant is investigating the unusual self-death of a resident, a U.S. Army special agent is sent to the Morón base to find out the whereabouts of a missing American soldier. This is presented both in Spanish and English, with the majority being in Spanish, so you definitely want to pay attention so as not to miss any of the important dialogue. Now, this stars Maribel Verdú, Mariela Garriga, and Austin Emilio. Now, Verdú is with the Guardia Civil and is investigating two different cases that could be connected: a strange self-deathing and a missing young man. Now, Garriga is the Army special investigator sent to find the missing soldier. She's accompanied by Emilio, who's an MP on the base. He also serves as her driver and guide. Now, Verdú is complex in this. She's difficult to warm up to because she's very career-driven, or at least an ardent pursuer of justice. Her cases take the priority over her family, which we watch crumble apart just thanks to an ailing grandma and Verdú's daughter, who is becoming increasingly rebellious. Now, she's a good investigator and also a fair and level-headed boss, so it's not like she's a monster to all that is around her. It's just with her priorities being a bit out of order, it makes her difficult to become endeared with right at the start. Now, Garriga is even more of a standoffish character, and the way the persona is built, she's tough to like. She's abrasive and gruff. Something I do love about the character is that she's not one to back down. There are a few examples of men trying to wield power or influence over her, and she takes them head on. It's actually pretty funny at one moment because these two soldiers who make some snide comments to her, she just turns around and confronts them. Now, she outranks them, so it becomes even better to watch. And I love her strong will and her sense of duty to the investigation. It's admirable. But because she's even abrasive to those trying to help, she's still someone kept at arm's length in relation to endearment. She's also got some personal issues that are going on, but we're not really privy to them. We hear some conversations that she has with her mom over the phone where a lot of concern for Garriga is overheard, but it's not defined. We get a glimpse towards the very end of the series on one of the things that's affecting her, and it just felt very misplaced and forced within the story. There was no follow-up, so to have this part of her life just all of a sudden be shown to us, it made no sense. Now, I like Austin Emilio in this because he's super quiet. He's so subdued, always in the background, just at ease and not moving. He's also very regimented, so when he's asked to look at something, he'll take measured steps forward, and then when he's finished, he takes measured step backwards. Now, because this takes place during Holy Week within the town, they're doing a celebration every day, and we get to see the imagery and the iconography that's on display. It's beautifully shot. Portions of it even reminded me of another Max show, 30 Coins, or 30 Monedas, because included in the religious imagery are some scenes that just appear to be supernatural. Now, this is a very grounded show, so when we see some things freaky or wonky and they appear, they don't go unaddressed. I think they fit well with the overarching theme of guilt, especially as the religious processions are playing out scenes from the Catholic religion. Now, for the mystery aspect of this, I did find it really intriguing and interwoven enough to create some misdirection and doubt. That being said, though, in one section of the story, it becomes very obvious, and you're going to be able to guess an answer to one of the central ideas well before the reveal comes. Now, this weakness in the writing, it does hamper the enjoyment a bit, but thankfully there are multiple story arcs going on, so there's still more to try and figure out. And there are also some storylines that are meant to be more enticing and engaging, but I found them to be just distracting. Even though they are tangential to the entire mystery. I think it's because it's such a simple MacGuffin. It's not creative or novel, so that the basic plot point makes it dull to watch when it receives the story's focus. Now, the series does something that could make it difficult to watch week to week, and that's that we get the massive reveals before the final episode. So if you find yourself in this situation, know that the last episode, it packs in a lot of suspense and surprises. The tension's turned way up because although the mystery's been solved, that doesn't mean the case is completed or justice has been served. And I appreciated how the pace of the final ep was much faster. You could feel the urgency in character actions, and it becomes a sort of race against time scenario. But before that, this is a mostly patient and slow burn series. Each episode spends a lot of time focusing on relationships and interactions, along with the investigations. Now, this is both a positive and a negative. Some of the relational aspects work to create more understanding around characters, showing the complexities that inform their motivations, but others feel like useless tangents, showing us minor characters and giving them way more screen time than is necessary. Especially because this is a limited series, the 8 episodes are all we get. So to spend time on a peripheral corporal as he attempts to become a sergeant, why? I mean, I'm not going to be following this dude after the show, so he's just a rando whose storyline works to add time, but not depth. I think the show works better as a binge than a weekly watch. The first episode is probably the longest, giving us a lot of character introductions and establishing the settings and the storyline. But then after that, each episode is between 35 and 45-ish minutes, and they vacillate between important arcs and unnecessary distractions. And I think this had the opportunity to be told in a more efficient way, probably cutting down the series by 2 full episodes. And if they remove a lot of the extraneous time spent on side characters, the investigation would then get the majority of the focus, followed by the familial interactions of the key players. The series then would become a more taut and exciting mystery that uses the narrowed focus to become more compelling. So overall, When No One Sees Us is an intriguing mystery that uses religious iconography and an overarching theme of guilt to propel the flawed characters in their pursuit. Both Verdu and Garriga create layered investigators who may be abrasive or difficult to connect with, but also excel in their tenacity and purpose. The settings of Morón are beautiful, allowing the cramped streets filled with Holy Week processions to create haunting and meaningful visuals that support the complexity of emotions the characters encounter. The storytelling could be condensed to tell a more focused story, cutting unneeded character arcs and removing the distracting offshoots that lead nowhere. While one of the plot points is predictable and obvious, the show still maintains some hidden intrigue that should offer surprising reveals. There's a tiny bit of sex, no nudity, a lot of profanity, and some very brutal violence. I give When No One Sees Us 3 out of 5 couches. And again, this is much better as a binge that I think will hold your attention despite some of the patient storytelling. All right, have you seen any good mysteries lately? I would love to hear about them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.